or things are not going your way, you have no other choice but to turn to Allah. Even an atheist, Allah describes them saying that people who don't believe in God, or people who make partners with God, people make up their own desires as their God, they're the atheists, right? If they're stuck in the middle of the ocean, this is in the Quran, and everything is cut off from their saving them, they don't know anywhere else to go. They're alone in the middle of the ocean in darkness, and the waves are hitting them as high as mountains. Even they call upon the Creator of the universe. They turn to God sincerely. Or at least they get a feeling inside of them that they need to call upon someone who is more majestic, someone beyond us, who is Allah. It's just another name for Allah. And then when they're safe again, they return back to their associating partners with God in some way or another. Brothers and sisters, you have no other place to turn to at the time of hardship except Allah. And you have no other option except patience anyway. And even then, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives glad tidings and great news for those who are in that situation. They are patient. The ones who are patient at the time of qadr, destiny that happens to them beyond their control. In fact, Allah says in the Quran, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُم مُّصِيبَةٌ قالوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. And we will try you and test you every now and then. From time to time, we will change your state suddenly from a situation to another situation without you realizing, with a lot of things. And then Allah gives examples. With a little bit of fear sometimes, you're going to change from a state of security and safety to suddenly a state of fear and danger at times. Sometimes you'll change from a state of being satisfied with lots of food and provision to a state of a little bit of hunger at times. Sometimes you will change from a state of having so much wealth and money coming in, your business is going great for you. It's coming in. And you're not worrying about money or livelihood. And then suddenly you get into a state so quickly where money becomes your biggest problem, livelihood becomes your biggest problem. Allah says only a little bit and temporarily for a short time. وَالْأَنفُسِ. And sometimes Allah is going to change you from a sudden state where you've got the security of life, you're living, you've got your family, you've got your loved ones, you've got your friends around you, you've got your children and your parents and your siblings, they're living. And the last thing on your mind is death. In fact, some of us, we think that we're going to live forever and we forget. In fact, some of us turn away from talking about death. Some of us turn away from talking about that because it's sort of negative. Except for a believer, Allah says sometimes lives are taken away suddenly. And then you're forced to rethink and reflect upon life. Why am I here and where am I going? Do we belong to Allah really? Do I really believe in that? And to Him we shall return. Do I really believe in that? So Allah returns us through them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. You know, if you're a farmer, for example, you'll understand the meaning of crops and vegetation. Imagine the currency of our money suddenly went. You know, it passed now through this pandemic where people started to think, do you think that cash will go, money will go, currency will go? And in fact, in many parts of the world, the currency has no value. Like right now in Lebanon, they are struggling big time. And in other places in the Middle East where the currency has gone down so much that people are struggling to even survive. If you're a farmer, you're able to plant your crops and survive on your own crops. So Allah says, and we will test you sometimes by flipping you from a state where you had provision of crops and growth to a time when there could be a drought, there could be currency loss, there could be any of that. Allah says, give good tidings to those who are patient. What does this mean to the ones who are patient in these times? It means the ones who hold themselves together. You hold yourself together. In the time of qadr, I'm still in the first stage. I'm still talking about the easy part, brothers and sisters. I'm still talking about the part where you have no other choice but to be patient. This is the stuff, whether you're a believer or not, you got no other choice but to turn to Allah, but to be patient. What else are you going to do? But Allah wants us to hold ourselves together in that time. To not become immoral, for example. Start doing indecent things. Start doing immoral things. Start complaining, but when I mean by complaining, there's a complaining that's allowed and a complaining that's not allowed. Complaining, questioning God, why did He do that to you? Why me? Why not someone else? What did I ever do? Some people do that. And some people get to a state, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, of kufr. Allah says in the Quran, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. And among people there are those who worship Allah as if they are standing on the edge of a cliff.